Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
We are recording Monday, January 13th, 2024, day after the Eagles won their first playoff game of the season, their first wild card game since 2018 against the Green Bay Packers. How are we feeling, Ed?
Yeah, that was great. It was an enjoyable game, fun. It's great to win the game, and that's really all you got to do is you got to win the game. We can talk about the prettiness and things like that, and, I wish we'd done that. We won the game. No one got necessarily too injured as far as we had one guy, but other than that, we're relatively got out of that game, and it's time to move on. What's next?
Man, I don't know about fun. That game was terrible. I'm just kidding. No, it was tough from time to time, but overall, still, it was great to get a win. Second half, the domination just kind of continued, but I guess they did pitch a first half shutout. But once you get to the fourth quarter, man, it felt like it was just pure dominance.
Yeah, it's funny because it's just one of those situations where we knew one good drive in that second quarter, the game's over. Yeah. It would have been 17-zip. I mean, you could see the defense was just throwing a shutout. They were, everything was coming together as far as they go. You could tell Love just wasn't comfortable and wasn't going to get comfortable. It was, just a great victory. But like you say, I don't know what's worse. You play from behind, play ahead, but my goodness, when you think you can just win the game at any time and put it away, we kept saying, now's the drive to put it away.
Yeah, there was quite a few of those.
Yes.
Away, but overall, happy to get the win, going on to play. We don't know who yet. Right now, the Rams and Vikings are playing. Watching it on our iPad right here. Rams up 7-0 in the first quarter still, so long time to go on that game, and we'll see what happens. We were hoping to record, when we knew, but we can't take that long to do it. Plus, we'll be doing a preview later on this week. Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, give a shout-out to the Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. We couldn't go to Rhinos this last week for the game. Hope to go next week. My wife's going to be in Denver with the baby, so I should be able to go if you're up to it. So hope to see you at Rhino Sports and Spirits on the game day, depending on who we're playing. We will be playing on Sunday at 1 o'clock our time.
Right, and it's going to be the first game of the
day on Sunday.
Which is good because I heard the bar was completely packed last week.
The Broncos fans.
There were 71
Eagles fans
at the game. And, Steve had said he had to stand for 30 minutes to get a seat.
It's crazy.
So for the first game, we can get there about noon and get ready.
That's right.
Set up.
Definitely. All right, so let's get into the summary of the game. So we start off this game. We win the toss. We defer. We get to put our defense out there, and we kick off to them. And what happens? On a kick return, Oren Burks lays a huge hit. We get a fumble, and that was recovered by Jeremiah Trotter. Now, I know a lot of people were kind of going, well, what? Didn't they? The Green Bay guy had it.
Yeah.
But,
Ball's moving.
It kept on moving. His arms kept on moving. And I'll point out a point. Back in 2018, Philadelphia Eagles played Dallas Cowboys, and it was the worst officiated game in NFL history. And on the opening kickoff, we kicked off to them. We forced a fumble. We clearly fell on top of it, and they didn't give us the ball, if you remember that.
What was the call on that one?
It was not clearly there was no
You said we clearly recovered it. Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
I couldn't believe it. A guy came up with the ball, and they didn't give us the ball. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was funny. Like you said, we saw that pile, and then right away, we just looked for the players in the field that are giving you the indication. And you saw the referees climbing around, and then you're just waiting. And then, it was the same old thing where it's like, oh, now they're going to go look at it. And I'm like, well, you already made the call. Yeah, I did. When you slow-mo it down, sure, the guy looked like he might have been down, but the ball's still moving is what they said, and I'm not going to argue with them. Yep. It goes both ways, and we didn't, you get that one, you didn't get this one. We'll take it.
Yep. So we start that drive off on the 28-yard line, the Green Bay 28-yard line. First play, we get 16 yards for Saquon Barkley, another run from him. And then Jalen Hurts hits Jahan Dotson for a touchdown, which was phenomenal. And it was funny. I'll give a shout-out to myself. On the first play when they ran to Saquon, I looked at the bottom of the screen. I saw Dotson, and he was lined up. And the way they were lined up, I was like, dude, Dotson's going to be wide open on this play. And then he wasn't. They ran the ball to Saquon, so it didn't happen. But 2 plays later, he's wide open for a touchdown in the back of the field. And I'm like, oh, my gosh.
He made a great play on that. You saw him go down. When the guy was kind of jostling him, kind of grabbing him, and he just juked him one way and made a left, and he was wide open.
He kept moving. He didn't mess around, but yeah. After that, a pretty boring couple of things happened. Green Bay punts, we punt. Green Bay punts. It's just kind of a back and forth, 5-play, 6-play, 7-play. Not much going on there.
Well, that first drive of the Packers, you could see we were all over them. It was great. And where did they start on that one? Was that the kickoff?
They started at the 13.
Yeah,
that was when they had a penalty.
Yes. So I mean, that was one of the big things about the game. It seemed like the special teams, or at least the kickoffs, really worked.
Yeah. Then we went down, finally got the ball back. Finally, we were able to drive down and get a field goal right before the end of the first quarter. So we scored 10 points in the first quarter, which is, hey, when that happens after a season like this,
yes,
you get excited.
And it's so funny because I said to you in the beginning of the game, if things go really good, we don't anticipate that staying that way. And if things go really bad, let's not anticipate things staying that way. And it's, here Hurts gets off to a 6 for 6, and we're like, oh my gosh, a few games he was 0 for 5, and then it just flipped exactly.
Absolutely, yeah. Into the second and into the third quarter, Hurts went 0 of 7. We'll get into the Hurts section.
I got you. It's okay.
So then 2 plays, they get a 3-yard run, and then they throw a pick down to Darius Slay to basically start the second quarter. And then you're thinking, okay, well, now it's time to put it away. Then you punt. We punted.
3 and out, right?
It is a 3 and out. And you're like,
no, we're like, really? So you're up 10-0. You get a pick at the 20 or so. And I just said to you, what did I say? I said, just sustain a drive. Yeah. No, you don't score. Just sustain a drive. Let's just get the offense settled in. Keep them off the field. They know they're messing up. I thought Love was totally reckless in this game. And if we had just driven the ball for 5 minutes and put 40 yards and punted again from the 50, it'd been fine.
Yep.
No, we go 3 and out.
Yep. Then we punted to them, and then they get a missed field goal after a pretty good punt return from Jaden Daniels, I believe. Or sorry,
Reed. Yeah.
Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed gets a pretty good 20-yard punt return. You're like, all right, now they got momentum. We need to score. They go down. They miss a field goal. And you're walking away going, man, we're unscathed. All right, here we go. It's time. And you punt. A little 3 and out for 5 yards. And you punt again with a holding from Mailata. And you're just like, oh, my God, we're going to let them get back into this.
Yes.
Then they get it. Jordan Love almost throws an interception to Zach Bond, and we're like, oh.
Diving. And that was a tip pass, I guess, from Carter.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, my God, he almost picked that off. And then next play, he does pick it off, and he returns the ball for a nice little 16-yard gain. And you're thinking, okay, we'll score before the half. Not even a touchdown because it's we're
double dip.
We're at the 45-yard line, so you're like probably not a touchdown. But hey, we got 3 times. We can at least get a field goal. And nice little 3 and out. Penalty from Dallas Goedert helps that, and we got a punt, 33-yard punt to Jaden Reed, and then they end out the half with a kneel with 14 seconds left, and you're just like, oh my God, it should be 20-0 right now.
3 turnovers already in the first half.
Yeah, 7 points from one of them, and no points from the other 2. Yeah. Very frustrating. Then we get this ball at the half. You're thinking, okay, we didn't score before the half. Let's go down and score again, and they punt it. It wasn't a 3 and out, but you punt it. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? They get the ball, they go down, they kick a field goal, and you start getting worried. You're like, okay, now it's only a 1-score game. I mean, what are we going to do here? Now they're going to get momentum. Nope, they go right ahead, score right on down, 68-yard drive, score a touchdown.
3 for 3 for 61 yards.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, he couldn't even complete a pass. Now he just hit 3 for 3, and we scored. That was a quick drive. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was 2.5 minutes, basically. Yep.
What was the touchdown on that one?
It was Dallas Goedert.
That was beautiful.
He passed it short. It was actually a horrible pass.
It was a terrible pass.
Great catch by Goddard. And then he just 3 stiff arms, get the heck off me, and got himself in a touchdown.
A.J. Brown, great block.
Yes, definitely. And that was great. You're like, okay, now we're rolling. We're on the way.
We're up 14.
Well, no, we're not. Because he misses an extra point.
Okay, that's what I say. So 16-3, we're up 13.
Yeah.
And I remember I had my eyes shut. I'm like, nah, he's going to make this thing, right? And then you turned to me and said, he missed it. And I said, there's no way he missed it. I
started laughing. I
can't believe you missed an extra point. That is so critical in that position.
It was
it's a punch in the stomach.
Yep. And not just that, then Green Bay goes down. They score another touchdown. They have aided by a huge run by Josh Jacobs, which I thought they did a pretty good job limiting him in this game.
They did.
But he still walked away with a pretty overall good game because of that big run. He ended up with 81 yards.
Yeah, let me tell you real quick. From what I'd seen, they had 3.4 yards per play in the first half.
Yeah.
So, and I believe he only ran for, we did the math, I think it was about 2.5 yards a carry.
Aside from that 31
point, yeah.
Yeah, so he would have had 17 for 50, which would, be around 2 points something.
They stopped him all game. But that one play, I don't know, he must have knelt and did a prayer before.
Got mad, yeah.
He's hit in the backfield on that play, too, by, I believe, his Carter.
Yep.
Hit his leg,
Horrible.
but, they just couldn't get to him.
So then we go down, we kick a field goal, and you're like, okay, hey, we put it back up to a two-score game. It's all good. And then the great thing was our defense was just great in this game. And Jordan Love got a turnover on downs. On 4th and 3, they went for it at their own 41. And that's when you started to go, okay, now field goal, put it away, make it a 2-touchdown game, and it's over, basically.
And they did. They did drive and use the right, get the timeouts. They didn't get the first down we wanted, but they still – they made them use 2 timeouts, and by the time we kicked the field goal, there wasn't much time left in the 2 minutes and something seconds.
Yeah, once we kicked the field goal, there was 3:12 left. Okay. So once they got the ball, so 3:12 left, and you're like, okay, now 2-score game, you start to feel good.
Yeah.
You get a sack to start it off, 10-yard penalty.
Yes.
Then they get a huge play, which is
second and
19. They got a 23-yard play. I was freaking
because that was really it. Just tackle the guy in bounds. The game's over.
Yeah.
But he runs it all the way down the sidelines. And
then at the 2-minute warning, he throws an interception, this time into the end zone to Quinyon Mitchell, who gets his first career interception in his first career playoff game, which was phenomenal. 3 interceptions on the day. We had only had 2 interceptions in the last 9 Eagles postseason games. In the last 9 playoff games, we had 2 interceptions, and we had 3 yesterday. And then at that point, we were ready to run it out. And Saquon got a nice little 17-yard gain where he probably should have gotten, maybe another 40. I'm not saying score. I'm a fan of the slide down, but not at the. Come on, go get another 30 yards.
I tend to agree. At least he would maybe put a $130 on him or something.
Get your yards up to 140, 150. I don't know. It's all right.
I had read something or heard something that he didn't want to hurt himself by running it too hard or anything. I'm just going down and put the game over. It was over. But, and he just respects the game too much. It's so funny. We're used to playing teams that love the stat pack, and to see him do that, it's just amazing.
It's true. Let's get into the good. So number one good, Jahan Dotson getting a touchdown in his first postseason game with us. I guess probably his first postseason game of his career, but still. Only 1 catch for 11 yards, but still, touchdown was great. I think that has to do with the fact that, last week he played well, and I think that gave Jalen a little bit more confidence in him that he can throw him the ball. And he threw him the ball in the end zone. He's wide open. He answered the call when the call was made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I kind of wish they had thrown it to him just a few more times.
I agree.
Just to give me something. But that was the hardest part of that game was just the passing game was just really hard.
Yep. Saquon Barkley, great day for him. 24 for 119, average of 4.8 yards per carry. Could have been 170 if he ran that ball in and got a touchdown. Which of course we like I said we didn't really want him to score, but just get another 30 yards.
It got exciting, didn't it? When you saw
get to 150. You're like,
you saw he made that play, and you're like, okay, game's over. But oh my gosh, it looked like
get 150, get to the other 30. You know what I mean? But still, great day for him. He was reliable all day. Long of only 17 with that end, that run at the end. So no huge runs to blow his numbers up. It was a grinded out game, and he did great.
Good defense, good run defense for the Packers. The Packers defense played phenomenally. They have nothing really to be ashamed of, but it was tough because there were so many times in the game that when we just needed him to get another first down, and he just was getting tackled 5 yards short every time. They played great against him.
Devontae Smith, 4 for 55, no touchdowns on the day. That's not a great stat game, 4 for 55, but I thought he made some really big plays. He really made the play to spark the game when he got that, what was it, a 28-yard? Yeah, 28-yarder.
Yes.
That was kind of the play that sparked the offense to finally go back down and do something. Gave us our first touchdown since the first drive of the game. And, man, it was needed. We really needed it in that moment, and he delivered. And, Hurts did too, but a 28-yard gain to get to the Green Bay 33. And from then on, we got a touchdown 2 plays later. So big spark for Devontae Smith. He's so clutch to have out there. He's so good in certain moments. He's really tough. I can't believe he's so tough. This dude is so small. Half my size, and he's just so tough.
Yeah, man, it's funny that one time they threw the pass to him on the left side there, and he started to, we needed yards in that game. We needed every single yard we get. And he kind of busted between 2 guys, and you're like, get the first down. And he just got stood up, and you're like, okay, that's enough. Blow the whistle.
Yeah.
Blow the whistle.
4 for 47, Dallas Goedert, 4 for 47, a touchdown. Great catch on that, or actually a couple great catches. He also had a one-handed catch at one point, I think on a third down actually. But a couple of great catches for him, especially that touchdown and just the physicality. And this guy's just so good, and we forget because he's so often injured. It really sucks. But man, when he's on, he is on. And for him to be the third option behind those 2 guys, AJ and Devontae, man, he is. Oh, he's so good.
We've talked about him this past year on the podcast about it. We need to re-sign him. I don't care what. We need to re-sign him. Okay. We need to keep him on the team because he, 4 for 40, whatever it was.
47.
We just needed every single yard he caught yesterday because AJ apparently to me just didn't look like something was wrong. I don't know. That knee injury popped up during the week, and I don't know where it came from because I didn't play the week before, but he didn't look that good, and we just really, really needed him, and he delivered. Delivered last week and delivered this week.
My next good, the defense all game. I'll throw out some certain names. 2 sacks for Nolan Smith. I thought this was one of his better games in a long time. I mean, he played great. He'd been playing really good all season, but he played great against the run. He played great against the pass. Almost had a 3rd sack, really. But
everybody says that. I don't remember it. I got to rewatch the game. I don't remember that play.
It was when I think Sweat. It was when Jordan Love, they were against their own red end zone, and then Jordan Love ended up throwing it away. It was on a 3rd down.
So that's when Milton Williams came right in.
Yeah,
they should have made the sack right away, and he spun around.
Nolan Smith was next to him.
Because then Sweaty kind of pushed him to throw it out of bounds. I got you.
3 interceptions from Bond, Quinyon, and Darius Slay. Sorry. They were all playing great. Slay did get hurt. He came back, thankfully. Quinyon getting his first interception of his career in the playoffs, which is great. And then Bond, who just had a phenomenal game overall, leader of our defense, and he's going to have to continue leading on due to unfortunate injuries, which we'll talk about. But 7 tackles for him and 1 interception, almost another interception. And, I mean, he's so good this year. It's insane.
It is insane.
He's so wild, man. He's so good.
One pass defense for Bond. I'm looking up.
Okay.
Now, 7 tackles total.
Yeah.
1 tackle for loss, of course. He has that on his resume every week.
Yeah. I want to put the D-line, really the interior of the defensive line. We already shouted out Nolan Smith, but the interior of the defensive line, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, and Davis even had a couple good plays. But, man, those 3 guys, I think they had maybe 2 or 3 tip passes yesterday, and Williams got in there almost for a sack one time, got a holding penalty on him another time.
At least 2 holding penalties on him.
It's true.
I mean, it really changed the game. It's funny how we always complain maybe, they're not calling the hold. Well, they finally started calling the holding yesterday. They had at least 3 or 4 holding calls, but 2 were on Milton Williams when their one lineman went out after Nolan Smith hit him in the shoulder there, which really knocked that guy out of the game, and they ended up going with 3 guards had to come in the game to fill in for him. They had a lot of injuries. They had a lot of misfortune, guys falling down and kicking guys, but it was pretty tough. But
gotcha.
The holding calls, it was good to see because these were legitimate holding calls.
Yeah, for sure. Next, I was going to put against the good against the run. Like we said, I know they had a 31-yarder. That was really their one big play from Josh Jacobs and in the running game. I mean, I guess Jordan Love did have a 12-yarder at one point or 11-yarder. But other than that, man, I think the defense overall against the run was really great. Only allowed 17 for 50 aside from that 31-yarder, which would be about 2.8 yards per carry.
Right.
So I thought it was a great day by the defense all around, and just I can't even say which group played better. D-line, secondary linebackers, it was all amazing. I just don't know. It was incredible.
Milton Williams was my star of the game. He was just incredible. I don't know how many times I looked up and he was running straight to the quarterback. It had to be at least 4 or 5 different plays. It was kind of a shame he didn't get a sack or two. From what I hear, he is going to be a free agent this year, which stinks because, here's a guy that I've been pulling for years.
Yeah.
And he has a great year, and hopefully we can keep him. That's all I got to say.
Big play of the game right there. I got to point out, the Rams-Vikings.
Okay.
They looks like Stafford was about to get sacked, and he threw the ball, and they called it a fumble to recover for a touchdown. But then after replay assist, they said no, or not replay assist.
Right.
Replay it says no touchdown. So it was a big game. I don't know who I'd rather play.
We've gone back and forth. You're one way, I'm the other way. So
the Vikings have Sam Darnold. So that to me is that's it right there. I'd rather play that. But their defense is probably better. But the Rams offense, at any given moment, the Rams offense can be the best offense in the league with that quarterback and those 2 wide receivers and a good tight end and a good running back. They're not all pros, all of them, except for Justin Jefferson.
I mean, Nakuma's the man. If we can double him or whatever, get him out of the game. But I think with Cooper Kupp, he used to be fantastic. Now he's a little bit older, a little bit.
Yeah,
make the calls. He's
100% wrong. He's amazing.
I just don't. I feel I'd rather play the Rams. We've already beaten them.
That's why I don't like it.
And I think you can get to their quarterback, but it would be more fun to take the Vikings out again.
That's my thought.
Because their fans hate us already. So
exactly, and we hate them.
They're like 0-4 against us in the last how many years? So
let's talk about the bad. So really, the offense in the second and third quarter, I thought it was atrocious. I mean, I told you during the game, and I believe our team, they can win it. They can win any game, but gosh, they won't if they play like this. I mean, and the defense. It's funny because all year long I've been saying, man, the defense is bailing them out. The defense is bailing them out, and at some point they're not going to be able to. And maybe they can. I mean, we're watching all these games. Maybe they can still, but at some point, man. This offense just has to – they can't just be stagnant for a full 2 quarters. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I get it. You're going to punt. You have a punter for a reason. There's no way to not have to turn the ball over or punt. You know what I mean? It just happens. But, geez, they go 2 quarters in a row with just no ability to do anything.
It's so funny, too, because, we were saying, can't we just get a quick pass just to – shake it up, and it seems like every time we drop back to pass, we're running 40-yard routes, and that's what I think I see. And I hear this all the time where, Hurts is looking for the big play. Well, they got to stop that. You got to say, you know what, on this particular pass play,
7 yards.
There's nobody that's going to go more than 5 yards, so throw it right away. It just drives us nuts when we see it. When he had 6.7 seconds on that first touchdown. He should have been sacked.
Yeah.
The offensive line was fantastic, but you cannot hold on to the ball for 6-7 seconds.
Well, the second time he held on the ball for 6.5 seconds he got sacked.
You can't do that. It doesn't work.
It's terrible. The offense, I thought they should have scored 30 overall in the entire game. And then the defense, as much as I sang their praise and everything, I did think their tackling was a little bit leaky from time to time. They weren't making the best tackles. They weren't wrapping up the way they kind of had been for the last 14 weeks since the bye. Hopefully that was just kind of, getting back into it, jitters and everything, and we'll see what happens. But, man, I thought it was a little bit tough. But
it was rough.
Overall, the defense played so well that it's hard for me to
some of the times that they let the running back get may have a good run, they had him in the backfield.
Yeah.
There was 2 or 3 other times, other than that one we talked about, where there was a guy there and hit him or kind of spun him a little bit, and nobody was there to kind of wrap him up or at least fill the gap and push him back. So that was kind of tough to watch.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts. So overall, I won't say it was a bad game. I'll say it was a good game. Not great, but a good game. He did score 2 touchdowns on one horrible throw, one really good throw. But he started 6 for 6 and a touchdown. And, all week long there have been all these talk shows talking about rust versus rest. And, I don't know. He hasn't played in a while. He's going to be rusty.
Right.
And made us look like idiots because we start the game. He goes 6 of 6, and we're like, oh, my God.
What rust?
Rust my butt.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude's great.
Linoleum.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
And then he goes 0 of 7, and you're like, oh, my God. He couldn't complete a pass for 2 quarters, it felt like. Maybe he got one at the end of the quarter. For 2 quarters, it was like, oh, my God, he can't complete a single pass. It's terrible. But then, after that 0 for 7 drought, he goes 7 of 8 down the stretch and scores another touchdown.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Overall, it's tough to really talk bad about any. It's really tough to talk bad about it. I thought he also ran well. He had 6 for 36. One of those was a kneel down and a -1 yard. So his other rushes were 5 for 37, which is
5.5 yards carry, 7.5 yards carry. Yeah,
which is really good.
He slid well. There's one time he did go head first, but he slid a couple times nice, and he got a few first downs, which is always nice too.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, it was really rough. Like I say, I just want to. Can we throw a quick pass? Any quick pass? And if they ever throw that pass out to Barkley again, I'm going to throw something out. Because we just cannot do a screen pass to save our bottom. I don't understand it. We used to be a fantastic screen team. We have this massive offensive line, but we cannot throw a screen pass to save ourselves. I don't understand it. We got the great back in Barkley and Gainwell that can both catch the ball. We can't set it up. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
So abandon it. Get rid of it.
Yeah. I got 2 under the nest plays. So number 1 under the nest, going to be the offensive one. It's going to be the one on the touchdown drive, the Devontae Smith. 4 minutes, 41 seconds left in the third quarter. We're at the our 39-yard line, 3rd and 3, and you're kind of like, all right, man, we really need this, or we're starting to. They had just scored a field goal. Right. They're starting to cut into it. He gets wide open for a 28-yard pass. Good pass from Hurts. Great catch by Smith. Yeah. And like I said, next play he gets 9 yards, and the next play Dallas Goedert touchdown. So
the 9-yard line is the one where he tried to bust between 2 guys.
It was.
And we wanted him to get that first down, but it worked out.
My other under the nest is a play earlier in the game, a play that probably can lead us into our next topic. Really, it was the Nakobe Dean tackle, his last play of the game. Jordan Love. 5 minutes, 47 seconds left in the second quarter. And they throw it over to, the second quarter. Throws it to Tucker Kraft, and Nakobe Dean runs right through there, breaks it up, tackles him for a 3-yard loss. The next play is an incomplete pass, and the next play is a missed field goal from them. So that 3 yards, that helps a lot. Let's take that into the injury section, really, unfortunately, where we have to talk about Nakobe Dean did tear his patellar muscle, patellar tendon. Thank you. Sorry, patellar tendon, and he will miss the rest of the postseason. Unfortunately, the good news of it is it's not an ACL.
That's right, buddy.
I mean, the torn ACL. Then you have to go. Now he's going to miss the first 3 months of next year, or the first 2 months of next year. No, this is going to be a lot. I don't want to say easier to heal from, but it's going to be much better and different than an ACL.
Yeah, they'll take a piece of his kneecap and make that into his patella, and then his knee will repair itself that way. So he'll probably have some, hopefully he can guard that knee, because I actually tore my patella years ago, and I ended up turning my ACL years later, but I'm a knucklehead.
Yeah. Well, I'm
a pro athlete.
I'm sure you were, what were you, 28? Or no.
19.
19, okay.
When I tore my patella, I tore my ACL when I was about 23.
But still, like I said, massive loss. It's going to be tough. Oren Burks came into the game. I didn't think he played great. I didn't think he played bad. I thought he had a misplay here and there. Overall, still, I think he helped get the job done. Yeah. He's a type of player that, do you want him to be your first option? No. But there is a reason we got him. Yeah. And the fact that he, I think that he'll have a week of practice.
Oh no! He'll get the reps.
I think that's very different than being thrown into a game.
Right. The biggest part about that is now Bond is going to be wearing the green dot. So because that's what we love so much about Nakobe Dean, was he was also the catcher on the defense. He was the guy calling the plays, and now Bond's going to do it. But Warren Burks, if people remember last year in the Super Bowl when Greenwood got hurt, he's the only guy that came in for the Niners.
Didn't play well though.
But he's got experience.
It's
the moment's not too big for him.
To me though, it's just so much different. With a week of practice. I mean, we talk about it with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett against Washington didn't seem like he was, kind of had a rough time here and there. And then against Dallas, he came in with a whole week of practice, and he was great. Right. And then Tanner McKee, who's just, the greatest quarterback on our team, is not just kidding. But no, I think the fact that Oren Burks will have a week to practice, have that time next to Bond, it's so much different than just being thrown into a game.
Right.
Next injury, I was going to say Darius Slay. He did leave. He did come back, so he was ready to go. He's all good. But it was really reassuring for me to see Slay left the game, and the next play they had targeted Isaiah Rodgers, and he got a pass breakup in the end zone. It ended up not counting because it was a penalty that brought the play back, so it didn't really matter.
Right.
But still, in the end, that play mattered until the flag was down. Right. So it was still good to see him.
And he's been in these situations. It's not when we saw Slay go out early in the season, you and I went to ourselves, oh, no. Well, my God, what's going to happen? No, you don't do that. You know they're ready. They have guys ready.
It's funny because Rodgers, I don't even want to say, oh, he's used to this. He's done it a few times. He did this every game. I don't think there was a single game Slay finished a game. Like he left every game at least one time. I swear. So Isaiah Rodgers really did. People said, in the broadcast, they're like, yeah, well, he didn't get in there much. And I'm like, nah, it's not true. He really did.
He's got a lot of plays on his stat sheet now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he started. I don't think he started 2 games, but Slay left 2 games pretty early, and he finished those games out.
Right.
So I think he got a really lot of good practice this year, and of course he got to start the Giants game, which was great. I think that's good to have him in the back, but the Nakobe one's going to be one we really miss, and hopefully wishing him a speedy recovery, and we'll miss him on the field.
It's the guy we talked about last season going, why isn't this guy playing?
Yeah. Well, he was hurt last year.
Man,
Well, that's the problem. He was injured all season last year. His rookie year, he didn't get to play much.
We went crazy all the time without them playing him, but he's playing fantastic.
I really want to play the Vikings, dude. Bradford just threw a terrible pitch. Bradford. I said no, because it looked like Bradford. No, Darnold just threw a horrible pick. Terrible. And man, I would really like to play that team.
And it's funny, the Rams are really putting a lot of pressure on him. In this game, I've seen him get sacked a few times already.
Yeah. Bottom line, we're going on to the divisional round. Obviously, I wrote playing blank space because we don't know yet. Right. Very happy to have seen. I think yesterday, aside from the Super Bowl win, might have been one of the best days in franchise history because the Eagles won, and we got to beat a team who kind of always beat us in the playoffs. The Packers, kind of been the bane of our existence before, Love, back when Aaron Rodgers really was a thorn in our side for quite a while. And so it was great to beat them, but it was also great to see Tampa Bay lose at home to a rookie quarterback, that in kind of embarrassing fashion. And they were back and forth that whole game. It was a good game.
Now, there's a rumor, and I don't know if it's true because I haven't had a chance to check, but I heard somebody say it on one of the other podcasts I was listening to, and they said, we got Tampa Bay on our schedule next year, and we play them in Tampa.
Are you kidding me?
I know. I'm not kidding you. I heard that. I'm like, because I'd written on a few other things where a couple guys, Dave and Rube, were talking about, and I commented and said, well, we can say goodbye to Tampa Bay this year, and hopefully we won't see them again until next year, meaning the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I heard they're on our schedule next year, and I went, how's that
up right here? We do play them
away. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
we played them away this year.
That's really stupid.
Why are we playing them away?
We played them away last year. We played them away last year, this year, and we'll play them again next year at home.
What's that?
At in Tampa Bay.
And we played the NFC really stupid this year, right? We played Carolina.
Yes.
We played
Carolina, Atlanta. Yeah, well, they're going to be our conference opponents based on the 2024 division placement. They won their division. We won.
That makes sense.
But give us the home game.
Exactly.
We played it. We played in that stadium.
Although we're better this year on the road.
Oh, I know, but since 21, we played them that year.
In the playoffs.
We played them that year in the regular season.
Right, at home.
We played them at home in Philly.
Beat them.
Since then, we played them. No, we lost.
Oh, I'm thinking of the safety game.
I'm thinking Brady year.
22, we beat them in the safety
21, talking Brady.
Right.
We lost them at home.
Right.
We lost them in the playoffs away.
Right.
The next year, we beat them we beat them away.
Right.
We lost away this year, and we would play them away next year. And that's stupid.
That is stupid.
That's insane to think about. 5 games in a row, you play a team, you got to play there.
Let's play the Packers again.
All right.
At home, not in Brazil. What are you doing?
So still trying to figure out who we're going to be playing games only in the second
quarter.
quarter.
How it works. You got to play divisions.
Just nice to see that Tampa Bay is going to be out of the way for at least the postseason and everything like that. But other than that, Dad, you got anything else? Let's talk about some games of the weekend. Sorry, I should mention those first. Pretty boring weekend of wild card, unfortunately. Houston Texans destroyed the Chargers.
I guess that was an upset. That's what I'd heard people saying. I'm like,
correct.
Really?
Chargers were the favorite. Isn't that funny?
Terrible.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The line should have been 0.5. I mean, it should have been over. In the over/under, it's funny. The over/under probably wasn't that high, but they had to have covered it. I'm sure. I don't know. 44 points.
Yeah.
I'd have covered it because I
You know,
can't
I saw
imagine.
most of the playoff games were under hits.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 22-10, and then you got the Ravens game was low scoring, 31-7.
28-14.
So that's only 42. Most of them are 45, 47.
Yeah. That's dumb. That's if the line's that high.
Yeah.
If the line's that high, that's dumb because playoff football is not going to be that high scoring.
Well, if I don't know, you don't bet, but if you had seen the over under for our game was like 40 something.
Okay. Yeah. Pittsburgh. Those were two really boring games. The Ravens, the Steelers, the Chargers, the Texans didn't care about it really at all. And then the other boring game, the Broncos, the Bills. Obviously, living out here in Bronco territory, we don't really cheer against them. Like I said, my company partners with them, but man, they never had a chance.
It was cool. They scored the first.
It was cute.
You know,
it was cute. It was adorable.
You could see it happening.
Yeah, they couldn't do it. I mean, they missed that field goal going into half. That kind of
It was
kills
only
your momentum.
10-3 at halftime.
It kills your momentum. 10-7, 10-7.
Oh, that's right, 10-7.
Yeah, it kills your momentum, but man, they just
it was over.
just killed.
21 unanswered.
And then the Commanders Bucks we already talked about. I thought that was the best game of the day, really.
Definitely.
Even including ours. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
overall a better game for NFL.
back
fans
and
to
forth,
watch.
back and forth.
Definitely. Yeah, nonstop back and forth. 23-20, the Commanders win it in Tampa Bay. So now we get to watch the Commanders go play the Lions. And hopefully we get a nice chance of beating whoever we're playing here.
Minnesota.
And then we'll see who we face after that.
Cool.
All right. You got anything else, my friend?
Not really. No, that was good.
All right, you can say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment down below your predictions for the game coming up. Who do you think will play? Well, you'll know by the time this is out. But how do you think it'll go? What are your predictions for it? We'll read your comments here on the page. If you email us your questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com, we'd love that as well. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds!
Fly, Eagles, fly.